6 p.m. here in Cairo, time for the news bulletin. My name is Alan Mukhtar. We start our news bulletin with the headlines. President Abdel-Fattah al-Sisi condoles Nigerian president over the death of former leader Muhammadu Buhari. Egypt expresses deep sorrow over the tragic fire incident that took place in Iraq that killed and injured dozens. Welcome back. The news in detail. President Abdel-Fattah al-Sisi today directed a cable of condolences to Nigerian President Bola Tinubu over the passing away of the former Nigerian President Muhammadu Buhari. Via his official social media account, President al-Sisi said he offers sincere condolences to his Nigerian brother and to the people and government of the African country over the death of their former leader. He also hailed late Buhari, dedicated his life serving his country, praying to God to bless his soul and to bestow upon his family patience and solace. Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouli held a meeting today at the government's headquarters in Al-Alamein city to review the final form of the draft law on central zones for money and business. The meeting affirmed that the draft have been revised and ready to be submitted to the Parliament to present its final notes on the law. During the meeting, the Premier pointed out that the law aims at increasing local and foreign investments through providing more facilities in regard to other countries' experiences in this domain. The meeting was attended by the Ministers of Housing and Urban Communities and Trade and Investments. Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouli inaugurated the real estate registration complex in New Alamein city on Thursday. Following the inauguration, Madbouli noted the created efforts of various state agencies to provide the level of services provided to citizens across various sectors, while continuously striving to develop methods of providing the services through expanding implementation of the digital transformation system. The Prime Minister also have witnessed launching of the integration and linkage system between the Ministry of Justice and the Ministry of Housing in 16 new cities across the country. Al-Azhar condemned today the targeting of Syria, asserting that such violation reflects the occupation's agenda in spreading chaos and instability, thus dragging the region to the verge of explosion. The religious institution termed Israeli incursions on Syria as part of its illegal takeover of the territories amid international silence, despite the fact that this occupation lies in flagrant violation of the international humanitarian laws. It cited the peaceful coexistence among different religions and sects as being the source of Syrian power and called on all parties to be alert against any attempts to cause rifts among them. The Al-Azhar also warned against Zionist agendas aiming to divide Syria as being a part of the bigger plan to turn the entire region into an arena of sustainable wars and conflicts. Syria's President Ahmed al-Shara promised to protect the rights of Druze citizens as a ceasefire appeared to be holding in the country's south following U.S. intervention to end fighting between government forces and Druze fighters. Overnight, the government's troops withdrew from the Druze city of Suwaida. The pullout came after interim President Ahmed al-Shara announced in a televised address the responsibility for security in Suwaida would be handed to religious elders and some local factions based on the supreme national interest. The United Nations Security Council meets today to address the conflict. However, Israel have launched powerful airstrikes in Damascus on Wednesday, blowing up part of the defense ministry and hitting near the presidential palace as it vowed to destroy government forces attacking Druze in southern Syria and demanded they withdrew. United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres have condemned Israel's air strikes on Syria on Wednesday as the country puts pressure on Damascus to protect the Druze minority following clashes. China called for respect for Syria's sovereignty on Thursday after Israel carried out strikes on the country's forces in support of the Druze minority. Foreign Ministry spokesman Lin Jian said Syria's sovereignty and territorial integrity should be respected, adding that the ongoing turbulence in the Middle East actions that could escalate the situation must be avoided.
Italian Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni said that Israeli strikes on Gaza have also hit the Holy Family Church, a parish in Gaza City, with which the late Pope Francis had regular contact throughout the war. Pope Francis repeatedly called for an end to the war in his final Easter message a day before his death on April 21st. He condemned the deplorable humanitarian situation in the Palestinian territory, and more than 20 months of war have created dire humanitarian conditions for Gaza's population, displacing most residents, at least one, and triggering severe shortages of food and other essentials. Israel's military offensive has killed at least 58,573 Palestinians, mostly civilians, according to the health ministry in Hamas-run Gaza.
2 people were killed today in separate Israeli strikes in South Lebanon. The latest. Egypt have expressed deep sorrow over the tragic fire incident that took place in Iraq that killed and injured dozens. In a statement that was released by the Foreign Ministry, Egypt have extended its condolences to the Iraqi leadership and people, as well as the families of the victims. The statement further asserted Egypt's support to Iraq and wishes of the soon recovery for the injuries. A fire tore through the newly opened shopping mall in the eastern Iraqi city of Kut overnight, killing at least 61 people, authorities said today, as grief-stricken families searched for missing relatives. Officials said many people suffocated in bathrooms, while one person said his 5 relatives died in an elevator. The Iraqi authority declared 3 days of mourning in the province. The Russian air defense units destroyed 122 Ukrainian drones overnight that targeted the capital Moscow and scores of other Russian regions, injuring at least one person, Russian authorities said on Thursday. More than half of the drones were destroyed over the Belgorod, Kursk and Bryansk regions that border Ukraine. 3 drones were destroyed over the Moscow region. A Ukraine drone attack on Wednesday have killed 3 people and injured at least 17 others in Belgorod region. Russia and Ukraine have accused each other of targeting civilians, something both sides deny in the course of war now well into its 4th year. Now with economy news, as Egyptian stock market indices rose at the beginning of trading on Thursday. The benchmark EGX 30 index increased by 0.5% to exceed 33,649 points. The broader EGX 70 index and the more expanded EGX 100 index also rose by 0.42 and 0.49% respectively. Well, with this, my dear viewers, we come to the end of the news bulletin. My name is Amal Mukhtar. Thank you for watching.